Hi, my name is Taylor Mock, and this is my video regarding growing up in the Soviet Union, referring to the prompt Childhood Life in the Soviet Union by Anna Malyakova. I'm very sorry if I pronounced that wrong, which more than likely I did. So, my thoughts there on the video, I just kind of feel as Anna is romanticizing her childhood in Russia during the Soviet Union, as beautiful as it is to her, I cannot help but cringe. Um, and I don't know why I have that perception of just like this extremely cringe lifestyle. It just seems very robotic every time I just kind of read something. And a big part of me does feel like it's because of the way media has always portrayed Russia and learning about life in the Soviet Union. Up all the way up until this point, I've always kind of seen it as just like a very robotic prison-like lifestyle. And I guess my perspective just hasn't changed that much, which I know it should have, but for some reason, even still reading this, I still see it as that. And of course, I think there are a lot of beautiful benefits that she listed, such as free healthcare and the way it truly did save her brother, and that the free healthcare to Anna's family would be a blessing to most families here that live in America and other countries, because just think about how many lives could have been saved and still could be saved if that was something that we were granted the opportunity to have. That I think is a very beautiful part that they did provide. Not only was healthcare offered to her brother for free, but the Russian government also allowed her mother to receive early retirement for having a child with a disability. And that is just something that could just benefit so many people around the world. I know personally so many mothers that could have benefited from that, from taking care of sick children, which I think is just crazy. It's like almost just like unheard of. Another very beautiful benefit that was also listed was maternity leave that the Soviet Union provided for the woman. Most women in the US today, a lot of them have to consider opting out for maternity leave because of pay. And I think that is just crazy. And it's either, for financial reasons, because you can't afford daycare, or because, you have to pay your other bills and things like that, or you have to save up for daycare. Just taking a leave, an option of taking a maternity leave is just like a nightmare for women that they just aren't able to be afforded that luxury, which I think that being able to take 18 months before and then take it another 18 months, really being there for the child's developmental years is something that I think every mother should, have the opportunity to do, to be able to be a part of your child's most developmental years in life, and be able to fully develop that connection with your child that you guys require. I think is such an amazing thing to be able to have. And not only that, to be able to do that and be gone for so long and still know that you have job security is literally unheard in America. To the point that it's a joke. That could be like a joke on SNL or something, never gonna happen. And I was genuinely really curious if people have done researches on the development of kids that were able to have a mom that did do the full 18 months of maternity leave, or more. I wonder, if it was a developmental difference with the kids versus mothers in America who are not provided that opportunity. So yeah, I'm really curious about that. After naming so many of the mind-blowing benefits that I think most Americans can only dream of, things, in my opinion, did, kind of start to get crazy as she described the nature of the culture of the town. This is where I started to get kind of cringy. She described, the cookie cutter neighborhoods that all had very similar infrastructures and all had the same flowers and children's sandboxes and slides at the end of the building that seemed very structured to me. as if everything had to be the exact carbon copy of the next. She also goes on to describe the culture of the neighborhood that she grew up in, and that it was so structured that every single Saturday, people in the neighborhood got together to clean up the neighborhood. And all of that is a very beautiful thing, people wanting to take care of the place that they live in. For some reason, it just kind of struck me as if they were so scared to be less than perfect or different from anyone else that it's just, you had to be doing the exact same thing as everyone else. And that's where the roboticness just kind of comes for me. It just seems as if one person was doing it, you all had to do it. You know, you didn't have a choice. It was just the way it was. That individuality was not at all encouraged in this society. Yeah, I just feel as though, you know, there was no real room to be yourself or even to embrace your community and the differences in the community, because differences just were not allowed. I also got the idea as she explained how creativity and being creative was seen as being extremely deviant, to the point that her favorite time as a child was playing by herself, because she could finally let her imagination run wild without anyone, you know, limiting her imagination and telling her what, you know, they're supposed to be like and what, you know, her imagination is supposed to be. Then Anna then goes on to describe taking extracurricular activities after school and possibly on the weekends. But even as she describes activities for children, she never uses the word joy or fun. Or even like, you know, we're doing this just because. She very quickly stated that if you were in a music class, the class is going to be, you know, 4 days a week. It was very rigorous. The training, you know, was going to be crazy, because if you're going to do it, you're going to do it well. You're going to exceed. And, you know, it was almost as if she explained as there was no such thing as a hobby. Like there was just no such thing as just doing things out of pure enjoyment outside of, you know, being a child. You know, like nothing was just for fun. So that was a big takeaway that I kind of, you know, helped develop that that thought of like, it's kind of just like prison, like, I don't know. You know, and then another thought I said was, even in a world that intentionally tries to get rid of socialism and classism, it will always exist somehow naturally through human behavior. As the article on Anna describes, that if you were in a certain communist party, then you were awarded certain privileges in life, because you were just, you know, in a certain circle, just as today. Not much has changed, which shows that, you know, that no matter what the government says, money will always talk. It will always be able to get you into places that hard work just can't. And no matter how much you have or who you know, yeah, what you have and who you know will always take you further in the world than hard work. And you'll always be the exception as long as you know you're naming the right price and you know the right person. So that's not too different from America. You know, everyone knows everything in America can be bought. So I definitely see similarities there. It's like even in society, you know, made for no one getting ahead and making sure that everyone is equal, there will always be an exception for the ones who are willing to bribe to get it. And that was, yeah, my biggest take on Anna's article about growing up in the Soviet Union. Thanks.